Would you like to live without regret? For real, not just like, I have no regrets. I have nothing. I wouldn't do nothing differently. I'm perfect, right? Some sort of guarded stance. No, I mean truly, open-heartedly, joyously, without regrets. It comes down to two things. You want to know what it is? Number one is bold action. The people that I see that have the most regrets have lived in a life of restriction, inhibition, holding back, avoidance, procrastination. What are they going to think? Oh, I'm not enough. Oh, someday, maybe. Bleh. And of course you're regretting it because you're not freaking living. So you got to I call that life on the side of the river. You're just watching the river go by. You're watching life pass you by. And you can grow old and you can die all on the side of the river. And that's a tragedy. That's a life not fully lived. And so I'm glad you're here and you're watching this and you're ready to do something different. So the first thing is to get into bold action, to get into the river, to get into life. The second thing, though, is you got to have a strong personal philosophy, because otherwise getting into the river of life, taking action, means a lot of either good stuff or bad stuff happening. And then there are a lot of anxiety because you got to only have the good stuff and not the bad stuff. And oh my gosh, if there's bad stuff, then it means I'm not smart and I'm not good enough. And maybe I'm going to feel pain and oh no. And that's not really fully living either. So we got to get out on the center of that river and we got to get on a strong boat. This is your personal philosophy, is your boat that allows you to navigate all of the twists and turns and the currents of this life. Now, what is that philosophy? That philosophy is choosing to say, you know what? I'm going to see this life, how it all works. We're all just making it up. I mean, no one really knows at a fundamental level of reality, like what the hell is going on here, right? You talk to a theologian or a physicist or a chemist or all the brightest people in the world, and everyone's got a whole different explanation of what's going on, right? The chemist will tell you it's just molecules. It's just randomness that form life. You talk to the physicist and they'll say, well, there's quarks and then there's black holes and then there's cosmos. And then you talk to the theologian and they're like, well, the divine force and the unseen hand of the universe, right? You get to decide, you get to make it up. And so what I've decided, and I invite you to adopt, is a choice of a philosophy that said, you know what? I'm going to choose to perceive that life is happening for me, that everything that is unfolding is for my best benefit, to grow me, to shape me, to give me the experiences that I'm meant to have while I'm here. And there is a guiding force that's doing that, not just for me, but for everybody and everything on this planet. And you can think of that guiding force as the weaver. And so I think of, like weaving the web of the infinite complexity, not just of this, all the humans, but all the beings on this planet and beyond this planet, right? The cosmos is insanely vast. So I like to say, I'm going to watch the weaver at work. So then what happens is you're going down the river of life. And of course, you want to go to the, there's a fork in the river and you want to go to the right and you don't want to go to the left. And then, what is this? To take it out of metaphor and make it into practical life, I want them to say yes to going on a date with me and not a no. I want this person to hire me and not reject me. I want the raise and to not get denied, right? We have all these twists and turns that we want. And then you're going along and then life steers you the other way. And you might say, oh, I made a mistake. I should have spoke up differently at work. Oh, I should have been sexier on that date. And you're beating yourself up. And in that moment, you've forgotten your personal philosophy. You went for the job and you didn't get it, huh? Guess what? Weaver at work, my friend. You weren't meant to get that job. And you're like, no. No. I clearly know that I was meant to get the job because when I didn't get the job, I felt bad. So the universe is wrong. It's like, okay. That unpleasant experience, is that true? That things are not unfolding as they should? Or is it just that it's uncomfortable and you don't like it? But when you adopt this philosophy, what you'll discover is that something unpleasant will happen. And your first reaction will be like, nah! And then the game is how quickly can you flip into a stance of surrender and like, okay, I guess we're going to the fork in the left. I thought we were going right. I wanted to go right. Okay, we're going left. Okay. All right. I don't want to go left. We're going left. That little dance, how long do you fight it? How long do you clutch at it? How long do you grasp at it? How long do you ruminate on it? Well, that right there determines the quality of your life. Because if you can surrender quickly, you can get in the flow with life, and you can say, okay. And I think of this as, there's different philosophies, but I can think of it as submission to the divine will. I can think of it as like the way it is, the Tao, like whatever philosophy you want to tap into to give you that ability to say, okay, that's what needed to happen. And sometimes your mind will know why. Sometimes you'll not know why until a year later. Like, whoa, I needed to not get that raise because if I got the raise, I'd still be there. But because I didn't get the raise, I got dissatisfied. And I realized that I actually didn't even want to stay in this company. I wanted to change companies. In fact, I didn't want to change companies. I actually wanted to change careers. And if I got the raise, it would have been the golden handcuffs. And I would have stayed there even though it wasn't this. And I feel like so passionate about this new calling I'm drawn towards. Whoa. And then you see. Sometimes it's a year later. Sometimes it's longer than that. Sometimes it's shorter. The more you strengthen this philosophy, the more you start to find it within days, within hours. And the more you know and you reinforce that this is for my best benefit, you actually start to make it so and find it even faster and say, okay, here's how I'm going to use this experience to grow. And then you're not only flowing in the current of life, you're laughing as you do it. Thanks for being with me today. Share down and below in the comments what you're finding most valuable. Until we speak again, we have the courage to be who you are and to know on a deep level that you are awesome.